There's something airlines will never openly admit. Your outfit can quietly ruin your entire trip before you even step onto the plane. And here's the uncomfortable truth most travelers over 60 never hear. What you wear doesn't just affect comfort. It can trigger extra screenings, slow you down at security, and even make you a target, both for staff and for people watching you. Most passengers think delays are random. They're not. Behind the scenes, both airlines and TSA operate with unspoken problem outfit patterns. And once you match one of them, everything changes. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the 10 outfit mistakes that turn smooth trips into stressful, expensive disasters. And the first one, it's more common than you think and surprisingly dangerous. Number 10. The luxury trap. This is the one mistake that feels smart but quietly works against you. Wearing obvious luxury brands, designer bags, flashy logos, high-end accessories. It doesn't make your trip smoother. It makes you visible. Airline staff are trained, yes, trained, to identify high-value passengers based on appearance. And once you're flagged, you're more likely to be approached for upgrades, offers, or last-minute add-ons you never planned to buy. That simple outfit can suddenly cost you $200 more. But it doesn't stop there. At airports, pickpockets don't guess, they scan. Visible luxury turns you into a moving target. Even TSA tends to take a closer look at expensive-looking items, assuming they might conceal something valuable or suspicious. So, what should you do instead? Travel in clean, high-quality basics, but without loud branding. Keep anything expensive inside your carry-on where you can actually keep an eye on it. Because here's what airlines won't remind you. They are not responsible for items stolen from overhead bins. And once it's gone, it's gone. But if you think that's just about money, the next mistake can make you stand out before you even realize it and quietly increase your chances of getting pulled aside. Now here's where things start getting uncomfortable, because this next mistake feels harmless, but it silently puts a spotlight on you the moment you walk into the airport. Number 9. The attention magnet. Bright, flashy clothing. It looks confident. It feels expressive. But inside an airport, it makes you visible in the worst way. TSA agents are trained to scan crowds quickly. And what do their eyes lock onto first? Anything that stands out. Which means if you're wearing neon colors, bold patterns, or anything that screams for attention, you're far more likely to be noticed. And once you're noticed, your chances of random additional screening go up. Not because you did anything wrong, but because you're easier to pick. It's not random, it's visual profiling. Even airline staff use color cues to track passengers. And here's something most people never realize. Passengers wearing bright colors are significantly more likely to be approached with upsells, seat changes, upgrades, extra services, all overpriced. So, what's the smarter move? Blend in. Stick to darker neutral tones, navy, black, gray. You'll still look sharp, but you won't stand out in a way that works against you. And if you like a bit of color, keep it removable. A scarf, a light accessory, something you can take off instantly if needed. Because sometimes the smartest traveler is the one nobody remembers. But what comes next? This one doesn't just affect how you're treated, it affects everyone around you for hours. Number 8. The scent bomb. Heavy perfume, strong fragrance, full makeup. This is where comfort turns into conflict. Airlines don't advertise it, but strong scents are one of the fastest ways to create problems mid-flight. Inside a plane, air is recycled every 2 to 3 minutes. That means your perfume isn't just yours anymore. It's shared with 150 people trapped in the same space. And if someone nearby has allergies, you could be asked to move. In extreme cases, even removed. But there's another issue most people don't expect. Cabin air is extremely dry, often just 10 to 20% humidity. That full face of makeup, it doesn't stay smooth. It dries out, cracks, flakes, and there's nowhere to fix it comfortably. Airlines know this creates complaints. They just don't warn you. So, what's the smarter approach? Keep it simple. Light moisturizer with SPF, minimal makeup, no fragrance. If you really want to get ready, do it after landing. Because the best stress-free traveler isn't the one who smells the strongest. It's the one everyone around can comfortably ignore. And what I'm about to show you next, this one has nothing to do with looks, but it can slow down an entire security line because of you. Up to this point, the mistakes have been subtle, annoying, costly, uncomfortable. But now we step into the kind of mistakes that don't just affect you, they affect everyone around you. And sometimes they can cost you your flight. Number 7, the metal detector nightmare. Jewelry. Not the small, simple kind, the complicated kind. Bracelets you can't remove, necklaces with hidden clasps, rings stacked together, Accessories that look harmless until you hit security. TSA agents can spot these from a distance, and when they do, they already know what's coming. Delays. Because here's what most travelers don't realize. Some jewelry turns a 10-second scan into a 10 to 15-minute problem. Screw-on bracelets. They can hold up an entire line. Tangled chains. You're stuck untangling them under pressure with people waiting behind you. And yes, people have missed flights over this. Even former TSA agents admit certain types of jewelry make them groan because they know it's going to slow everything down. But here's the part they don't advertise. You're allowed to ask questions. If you ask directly, "Are there any jewelry restrictions for security?" they are required to answer you. Most people never ask, so they learn the hard way. What should you do instead? Keep it minimal. Keep it removable. Magnetic clasps, simple pieces, nothing that traps you in a stressful situation at the worst possible moment. Because at airport security, speed matters more than style. And what comes next? This mistake doesn't just slow you down, it traps you. Number 6, the bathroom disaster. Jumpsuits, one-piece outfits. They look sleek, put together, effortless. Until you need the bathroom at 36,000 feet. Airplane lavatories are tiny, about 24 inches of usable space. Now imagine trying to manage a full-body outfit in turbulence. Flight attendants have seen it all. Passengers struggling, losing balance, taking too long. Even accidents simply because the outfit couldn't be handled quickly. And here's something rarely talked about. Passengers wearing complicated outfits often avoid going to the bathroom entirely, which means discomfort builds up and the flight becomes miserable. From the airline's perspective, fewer bathroom visits mean fewer interruptions, so they never warn you. But the risk is real. In rough air, even a simple movement becomes difficult. Now combine that with an outfit you have to completely remove just to use the restroom. It's a disaster waiting to happen. And if you need help, flight attendants are not required to assist you with clothing. So, what's the smarter move? Wear separates. A matching set can look just as good, but gives you control, speed, and safety. Here's a simple test most travelers never try. If you can't manage your outfit easily in your own bathroom with your eyes closed, don't wear it on a plane. Because what's coming next? This isn't about inconvenience anymore. This one can seriously affect your health. Now we move from inconvenience to real danger because these next two mistakes don't just make your flight uncomfortable, they can quietly put your body under stress, especially at altitude. Number 5, the circulation killer. Tight jeans, restrictive clothing, anything that hugs your body too hard. On the ground, it feels fine. In the air, it becomes a problem. When you sit still for hours, especially in tight clothing, blood flow slows down dramatically. Studies show it can drop by up to 40%. And for older travelers, that creates the perfect conditions for something far more serious. Blood clots, deep vein thrombosis, a risk most people underestimate until it's too late. Now add cabin pressure to the equation. At cruising altitude, your body expands slightly. That snug waistband, it tightens. What felt comfortable at the gate can start to feel like a constant squeeze at 35,000 feet. In extreme situations, crews have had to deal with passengers wearing clothing so tight it had to be cut off during medical emergencies. Airlines know this risk exists. They just don't emphasize it. So, what should you do? Give your body space. Choose clothing with at least a couple inches of flexibility. Materials that stretch, waistbands that don't restrict. And if you want one simple upgrade that makes a real difference, compression socks. They're not provided, they're not promoted, but they help maintain blood flow and reduce the risk significantly. Even your seat choice matters. Aisle seats make it easier to move, and movement alone can reduce risk by around 30%. Because what most people don't realize is this: the danger isn't dramatic, it's silent. And what comes next? It's the opposite problem, but just as risky. Number 4, the hypothermia trap. Shorts, light clothing, no layers. It makes sense when you're heading somewhere warm, but airplanes don't care about your destination. Cabins are typically kept between 65 and 68 degrees F, and that's not accidental. Cooler cabins keep passengers awake, alert, and more likely to buy drinks, snacks, and comfort items. But here's what happens to your body. At altitude, exposed skin loses heat much faster, up to 25 times faster. And for older travelers, the body loses heat even more quickly, which means something as simple as wearing shorts can leave you cold, stiff, and uncomfortable for hours. In extreme cases, it can even lead to mild hypothermia symptoms. Airlines used to provide blankets more freely. Now many charge for them. $8, $10, even $12 for something you could have brought yourself. And if you pay attention, you'll notice something interesting. Flight attendants always wear layers. They know exactly how cold it gets. So, what's the smarter move? Dress for the plane, not the destination. Bring light layers, a jacket, something easy to put on or remove. Even a small trick makes a difference. Ask for hot tea instead of cold drinks. It helps maintain your core temperature and keeps you more comfortable throughout the flight. Because what's coming next? This isn't about comfort. This is where security starts working against you in a very predictable way. Now we're entering the zone where one small decision can snowball into delays, stress, and even missed flights. And most people don't realize they're walking straight into it. Number 3, the security nightmare. Cargo pants, multi-pocket vests, anything with too many compartments. It feels practical. More pockets, more storage, easy access. But at airport security, it's a red flag. TSA agents are trained to be suspicious of complexity. And nothing says complex like multiple hidden pockets. And here's what happens. Almost every time items get forgotten. A receipt, coins, a key, something small left in just one pocket. Now suddenly your quick screening turns into a full check. Extra scans, questions, delays. Multiply that by dozens of passengers a day and you start to see why this becomes a pattern. In fact, the majority of travelers wearing cargo-style clothing get flagged for additional screening simply because of how often pockets are missed. And once you're pulled aside, you lose time, sometimes a lot of it. So, what should you do instead? Keep it simple. 2 pockets maximum. And if you need extra storage, use something visible and easy to access, like a small belt bag. Even better if it's clear or mesh, so security can see what's inside instantly. And here's something most people never think to ask. If you're stopped, you can say, "Is this screening related to my clothing choice?" They're required to answer. Most people don't ask, so they never realize the pattern. Because the truth is, the more complicated your outfit is, the more complicated your security experience becomes. But what comes next? This one isn't about time. It's about what you're exposing your body to without even realizing it. Number 2, the germ factory. Flip-flops, sandals, open-toe shoes. They feel easy, comfortable, convenient, until you reach security. Because at that moment, your feet meet the airport floor. And what's on that floor? More bacteria than most people ever imagine. We're talking thousands of bacteria per square inch, often more than what's found on a toilet seat. Now think about this. Every day, thousands of travelers walk through security barefoot. Some with infections, some with fungal conditions, some carrying bacteria you definitely don't want to come into contact with. And those same surfaces, they're only cleaned about once a day. That's it. So when you step onto that floor, especially barefoot, you're stepping into everything left behind by the last 1,000 passengers. For older travelers, this becomes even more serious. Weaker immune systems mean higher risk of infection. And yet, passengers are rarely warned. Flight attendants, they're required to wear closed-toe shoes. They know exactly what those floors are like. So, what should you do? Always wear closed-toe shoes, something easy to slip on and off but still protective. And if you do wear sandals, at least bring socks for security. One small layer makes a big difference. A simple extra step. Carry antibacterial wipes. Clean your feet after screening, because sometimes the biggest risks aren't the ones you can see. And now we're at the final mistake. The one that doesn't just affect comfort or time or even health. This one can decide whether you make it out in an emergency. Everything we've covered so far, it affects your comfort, your time, your health. But this final mistake can affect your survival. Number 1, the safety hazard. The wrong shoes. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but in an emergency, it becomes critical. Airlines are required to evacuate a full plane in 90 seconds. That's the rule. And in those 90 seconds, chaos is the enemy. Now imagine this. Passengers trying to run in high heels, flip-flops slipping off mid-step, boots that can't be removed quickly. Every second lost creates a bottleneck, and bottlenecks trap people. This is one of the leading causes of evacuation delays and injuries. Flight attendants are trained to notice unsafe footwear during boarding. They see it. They know the risk, but they can't force you to change, even if your choice could slow down an entire evacuation. For older travelers, this becomes even more serious. Balance, stability, speed, all of it matters. And unstable footwear turns a survivable situation into something much worse. There's another detail most people never hear. Emergency slides are designed for bare feet or flat shoes. High heels can puncture them. Flip-flops can disappear. Boots can slow you down or trap you during water evacuations. So, what should you do? Wear shoes you can move in. Slip-ons, secure, stable, something you could run in without thinking twice. And one small habit that makes a huge difference: keep your shoes on during takeoff and landing. Because if something happens, you won't have time to look for them. You'll need to move immediately. So now you see the pattern. These aren't just fashion mistakes. They're hidden traps. Traps that cost you time at security, money at the airport, comfort in the air, and in some cases your health, or even your safety. Airlines already know what works best. They just don't go out of their way to tell you because uncomfortable passengers buy more. Delayed passengers spend more. Unprepared passengers pay more. But now, you're not walking in blind anymore. So here's the real question. Which of these mistakes have you made before without even realizing it? And more importantly, which ones are you going to fix before your next flight? Drop your experience in the comments because chances are someone else is about to make the exact same mistake. And if you want to stay one step ahead of airport rules, hidden airline tactics, and travel traps most people never see coming, make sure you subscribe. Because the next thing we're exposing, the free perks airlines quietly hope you never ask for, and some of them could save you hundreds. Safe travels.